Today, we're going to talk about an industry that's either on again or off again. It's an electrifying industry. If you want to know what I'm talking about today, you need to sit right there. Hey everybody, Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Welcome to our YouTube channel. If you're brand new to the channel, I'm always going to invite you, sign up to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted to when new content like this comes out. Of course, for the art of interaction, please hit the like button. This helps our algorithm to get these videos out to everybody out there in YouTube land to show what we're doing and helping people become better investors in the market. So today we're going to talk about the EV space, electrical vehicles. It's either hot or it's not. And right now, this could be a good opportunity to play a bounce in this industry to get in. So we're going to talk about what's making this industry move. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, a lot of ins and a lot of outs. Let's go through the information so that we can get you squared away. Let's go start with Tesla, Nio. Now, I'm looking at EVs, not just the big boys, Tesla and Nio, but other stocks in this space as well and what they're doing. And recently, a lot of these companies just put out their deliveries, what they've done over the last quarter, and the news looks really good. So here's the first story. Tesla and Nio charging ahead into second half of 2021, says an analyst. So again, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about more than just Nio and Tesla as we go down the list, as electrical vehicles chomp up more market share into the auto industry, and they are. Two companies lead the charge. Tesla in the United States and Nio in the Pacific Rim. So they can focus solely on their technology and business models. Both are vertically integrated, which minimizes dependency of global supply chains. Finally, sales at both companies have swelled over 100% year over year. As I mentioned, when this industry is hot, it's boiling hot. But when it's not, it gets hit. Then you have to look for certain levels of when to get in. Reporting on the company's success and future outlooks, Vijay Rakesh, I'll jack up a name in a heartbeat, of Mizuno Securities, who explained that the year-over-year Tesla and Nio have increased their sales by 121 and 112% respectively. He expects Nio's sales momentum to continue through the year's end and said that globally, Tesla lead remains unchallenged. So that's why these are the two biggest companies in this space. Rakesh maintained buy rating for both stocks and declared a price target of $820 for Tesla and $65 for Nio. For Tesla, this would reflect a possible 24.32% 12-month upside, and for Nio, a possible 29% upside from Tuesday's closing prices. Nice big projections for moves on both of the stocks. And then we get into a couple other stocks. Domestic competition from Li and Xpeng, both over in China. Large traditional auto manufacturers are fumbling to get their responses out to the market. Rakesh wrote that Ford, which is in the US, Mercedes, and Volkswagen are said to be finding it difficult to manage both conventional and electrical engines in their product lines. But at some point in time, I saw that Audi and Volkswagen by the year 2025 seemed that they will be making only electric vehicles. I need to check more into that story. Now, let's go talk about what Nio did as far as their deliveries. In June 2021, Nio delivered 8,083 vehicles, representing 116% year-over-year increase. If this industry doesn't catch your attention, I don't know what will. Over the 3-month period that ended in June, the company delivered 21,896 vehicles, 111.9% increase from last year. This industry, by every speck of the imagination, is really growing. Nio produces electric cars and SUVs, including one of the world's fastest electric sports car, the EP9. In June, the company delivered 1,498 ES8s, Nio's flagship 6- and 7-seater smart electric SUV model. That's a nice car to be electric. Think about that. All right, so that's what Nio's deliveries were. Tesla's production in the same time period, they crossed 200,000 units, both in production and sales for the first time in a quarter. Tesla achieved the second quarter 2021, another record quarter in terms of production and sales volume. Both values were above 200,000. Tesla does offer 4 models: the Model S, the Model X, the Model 3, and the Model Y. However, the Model 3/Y duo were responsible for 99% of the result, as the refreshed Model S was barely launched in June. So new car, a lot of people are looking for the Tesla cars to come out. They want to be on board with Tesla cars. Where I live in North Carolina, a lot of Teslas driving around in Mooresville, North Carolina. So it's still the leader by far. Then let's go to Li. Li Auto June deliveries jumped 321%. The street says buy. China-based EV maker Li announced that it delivered 7,713 ones in June 2021, marking a 320% year-over-year growth. The company said it was the highest ever number of deliveries made in a month. So again, just looking at the deliveries of these companies, looking at the American companies like GM and Ford committing more to the electric motor and electric vehicles, this industry is poised to be hot once again. So just keeping all of that in mind. And last but not least, I've got one more. Xpeng. Chinese EV maker Xpeng makes debut in Hong Kong. Now, this is an interesting story because China and the U.S. are regulating what stocks can be traded on their exchanges, and China's going after the U.S. U.S. is going after China. This is kind of interesting as Xpeng makes his debut in Hong Kong, which helps people to skirt around all of the stocks that are on the U.S. market that China won't do, and the Chinese stocks on the U.S. markets that the U.S. won't do. This gives Xpeng a little bit more flexibility for people to still invest in that company. Now, with their debut, they raised $1.5 billion. No, that's 10 months ago. Xpeng, which competes with Tesla and homegrown rivals such as Nio in China and Li, raised an equivalent of $1.8 billion by selling shares in Hong Kong. So that's huge. And then 10 months ago, their public offering was on the New York Stock Exchange at 1.5. So now they're on the U.S. and they're on the Hong Kong Exchange. And now all of the stocks that maybe get delisted and Xpeng has more flexibility for people to still get involved with their stock this way. Unlike numerous U.S.-listed Chinese companies such as Alibaba Holding, NetEase, which have sold shares through secondary listings in Hong Kong since 2019, Xpeng opted for what is known as a dual primary listing. That means it has to follow the Hong Kong disclosure and corporate governance standards more closely. That choice allowed Xpeng to list in Hong Kong more quickly than if it had done as a secondary listing, and could give it greater weight in the city share indexes. The dual primary listing also makes Xpeng eligible for Stock Connect, a trading link with mainland China. This was big for an EV company to do this, the first one to do the dual primary listing, and that could be really good for Xpeng. Now, with all of this going on, all of these vehicles have to be charged. How about this? In New York, curbside electric charging now available in New York City. Of course, it's a big city. This is a good place to launch something like this. And, you know, nowadays when you go anywhere you go to travel, if you go to travel at a hotel, or even if you go shopping now at shopping centers or at food, whatever that stuff, there's charging stations for cars. This is still another big input that this industry is on the rise once again, and the infrastructure around it is increasing to accommodate these electric vehicles. So this is new, and this could be big as far as making sure these cars stay charged up. All right, now I'm going to go out into the software, and I've got some of these stocks set up for you, and I've got a sleeper stock in here that I want you to pay attention to as well. We're looking at 8 stocks in this industry. I'm looking at some of the most popular stocks in this industry. Are there more? Absolutely. But I'm looking at some that I think that mostly everybody knows about, and that the stories that I just gave relate to, with the exception of one. So Couple of the stocks. Tesla's the big boy. Lee is right behind it as far as our ranking by VST, our master ranking for stocks, value, safety, and timing. This is my sleeper stock right here, Stellantis. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to look at the stock analysis report. What does this company do? Stellantis NV is an automobile company which engages in the manufacture of automobiles and provision of mobility solutions. It designs, engineers, manufactures, distributes, and sells vehicles under the brand Alberth, Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Dodge, Fiat Professional, Jeep, Lancia, Mopel, all of these companies. So they sell under all of these companies, but they are getting more so into the electric space for these companies as well. What I like about this stock is that it's undervalued. It's got good upside potential. It's a safe stock that's going up in price. It's a hold recommendation, positive earnings growth rate, high CI. This is a stock that I don't see much people talking about, but it's a good sleeper stock to keep your eyes on. Let's do an analysis looking at the graphs of all of these stocks. And another stock that I have in here is an ETF that looks at the whole industry called DRIV. This is specifically an ETF on the EV space. If you want to take advantage of that, that's in here as well. I'm going to right click and view the stock graphs. Now, the first thing you're going to see when you look at the stock graphs is you're going to say, holy smokes, these stocks look like crap. So I'm putting these on a 3-month basis. So when this industry, let's go put this on a 6-month graph. When this industry is hot, it's moving. When it's not, it's not. Couple of things I like to show right now. I'm looking at this from a trade perspective, looking at 3 and 8 exponential moving averages. Notice that this stock, Tesla, is bouncing off a VectorVest level of support sitting at 621.81. It's at 635. Look at that bounce today. 3 and 8s are negative, but it is in the channel. I like that regression bounce. What else is going on here? Lee Motors. Look at that open candle bouncing off a level of a low. 3 and 8 have gone negative, but look at this rebound on the stock as of today. Look at the next one. Now, STLA is my sleeper stock. It's coming down to a level of support sitting at $18.44. That is a solid level of support, being that it was a solid level of resistance. 5 touches on that resistance bar. Now let's go see if that level of support could hold. These could all be buying opportunities as they pull back, knowing that the news behind the industry looks promising. GM, look at that bounce right off support, sitting at the level of, looks like, oh, I can't see what that is. 54 and some change, 54.77. Look at that bounce as well. 3 and 8s are negative. I'm liking all of these pullbacks as far as pullback trades. Ford, same kind of scenario. Here's a level of support bouncing off. Look at the big wick at the bottom of these candles. All of these candles are showing me possible reversals where you can get in. Bouncing off support on XPEV as well. Now, let's go look at Drive. Here's that ETF that tracks all of these, bouncing off its level of support. And last but not least, Nio bouncing off its level of support. All of these are regression trades where they are all bouncing off levels of support. These could be excellent buying opportunities, especially knowing that these companies have big deliveries that they've already put out for second quarter. That's going to bode well for the stock. All of these stocks have positive earnings growth rate, and they have good upside potential with relative values being above the value of 1. So what does this mean for you? This means that you keep your eyes on these stocks. If the industry looks like it's about to rise all over again, these could all be early possible entries back into the stock. But man, I feel really good about the industry. I'm looking at all of that news. I'm looking at all of these stocks bouncing off those levels of support simultaneously. That means the industry is doing a rebound right now, so it is something to definitely keep your eyes on. So, folks, take it for what it's worth. If you like the information, hit the like button. What do you think about these stocks? Are you trading any of these, and does this feel good to you as a possibility to buy alpha regression, all of these stocks bouncing off support? So until the next time, folks, have a great day. And until the next time I see you, see ya.